Hark and well met, folks, and welcome back to another stream. My name is RuneMeisterKris, and today we are here at the new house, at the new setup, with the same old fuck. That's right, we're back, baby. We're here. I saw Dante in with the first. Thank you very much, Dante. I saw Kane coming in with a 32-month free subscription. Thank you very much, Kane. Guys, it is so good to be back. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was so nervous. I was so nervous hitting that go live button. Ooh. But now that I'm here, it feels nice. It feels nice. Dante, thank you for the resubscription. Oh my gosh, guys. Never doubted it for a second. Music is drowning out my voice. Is that better? What the fuck? Hold on. We know that it wouldn't be good if it wasn't a step 2. I do this, and then I do this. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Stand by. There we go. Okay, there, it's all gone. That's more like it. That's right. I had the music set, and I didn't set it to the right audio channel. Hello, everybody. Prince Schlatt, thank you for the cheer from upstairs, and thank you for putting Blue Eyes White Dragon to bed. Prince Schlatt saved me because I was putting Gibble to sleep earlier, and I fell asleep with him. it was like half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago from now, and she was like, "Hey, did you fall asleep? Do you have to get up?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." Way better. Hello, Kagan. How are you doing? Gosh, it's good to see everybody again. Oh, my gracious. Ooh. So listen, guys, tonight we are very excited to be back. Not even reading your sub message? I'm so sorry. Hold on. I saw the thing. It gave me the... Well, if it ain't the greatest archaeologist to ever grace this good earth, how's the new place? Beautiful bastard. Dante. First of all, everyone give props to Dante. Set an alarm so he could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning in Britain just to be here. Unhinged behavior, and we love him for it. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, the new place is good. Dovo, what's happening? How are you holding up, man? Good to see you. The new place is pretty sick. It's pretty sick. We are very relieved here because we had a number of concerns, right? It's an old house. House is like 120 years old. And of course, with a 120-year-old house, you're going to get 120-year-old problems. And so with that, we have been trying to figure out what sort of issues we're having. And we had a historical structural engineer come by today to do an independent inspection of the house. And we got a lot of thumbs up, which is awesome. Boz, what's happening? Who dis? It's your boy back. It's perfectly hinged behavior, just in a kind of unway. Yeah, that's right. Mildly unhinged. Dova, yeah, you're all good until fire 300,000 acre catches up with you. I saw an updated map from another from another archaeologist in a Discord in the Pacific Northwest. A Jeebus. It's bad. It's bad out there, folks. Everything's on fire.
That belongs in a museum. So do you.
Mrs. Gunner with the resubscription. Welcome back in. Hello. I actually just saw them recently. Thank you for coming. And Top Gunner. Thank you guys very much. Actual Rune is back. That's right. This is what we got. This is what I'm trying to do. I don't have a fireplace in the basement now, so I got fireplace lamp bulbs. So here's something else. Check this out, guys. This is so stuff. All right. So here's what I did. So I bought this ancient-looking candelabra, right? I got it at a Habitat for Humanity resale shop. for like $8. And I was like, whoa, this thing looks sick as hell. It's a plug, right? So I can plug everything in. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that middle plug, all the pieces are loose and there's some cardboard jammed in there. I'll probably just skip using that one. So I took the light bulbs and I screwed them into the side ones. And I was like, oh, this looks sick. That's so cool. And then I grabbed it. And when I grabbed the middle pole, I electrocuted myself. And I went, uh-oh, why did that hurt? Did I just get shocked? And I grabbed it with the other hand and it happened again. And so I said, damn it, I don't think I can use the really cool candelabra. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it. Chris has ruined himself. Yeah. Mans didn't even build a new fireplace for the stream room. Shake my head. Yeah. There's options. There's not great. Yeah, so something's telling me that there's something goofy up with this, and I probably can't use it. But what I can do is I can leave it there. Ooh, I thought it was going to be right on the edge of the shot, but the ominous shadow almost is better. The ominous shadow might almost be better. You feel like I'm missing something obvious on my setup? So that's the thing, guys. I haven't been able to get the setup ready, right? Part of the reason why, and I appreciate that no one has called me out on it yet, but I said up and down that I would be ready to stream by July. And for those of you who haven't checked the calendar, it is in fact August 1st. And I did not make it to streaming in July, which, in my defense, is on brand, being late. It is on brand being late to stream. So there is that. But basically, it's been a lot getting this everything all lined up and ready to go, especially because I've been working weekdays in a city that's like 2.5 hours from here, which is good because I can come home on weekends and see the kids and help out with Bridgeshala and do a stream. But it does mean that all of my time during the week has been absorbed with doing this job. Although I did bring a bunch of stuff to do the hotel streams, I'm hoping that I should have some good enough internet connection that I can do some hotel streams soon too, which would be awesome. So we'll keep that in mind. However, it has meant that I've been slow to set stuff up down here. Also, all these walls, it's like this stuff, it's all plaster, right? So it's all plaster walling over the original brick foundation. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to hang stuff up in that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to hang it up with nails. Like I've got these little hanging nail things, you know? So like I don't know if I'm supposed to use these and like hook it up. You heard the knock up there? Oh, that's not good. Can you hear me shouting? Because I'm using a pretty solid voice. Am I too loud? Because that's another question that we have. Yes. Oh, okay, great. Well, we'll see if the kids can hear. That's really the question. So we've got these plaster walls over brick. And so I've got this new Minecraft light, which, by the way, I love this thing. Look at that. Isn't that so fun? The Minecraft lantern is command stripped on there, which is fine. This really cool old-timey looking world map, I just have that sitting on the thing here. I've got the shield that I'm going to try and put up right there. And then I've got... And then I've got the little plastic Spirit Halloween Viking shield and the Dig Dug poster. And I'm going to try and find a way to get them up on the wall too. And then, of course, I do have the target. However, I do have some bad news. Pretty much all of the crossbow stuff. I found the crossbow itself this afternoon. It's over on the thing over here. And I found one single bolt for it, and the fins are all broken. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do yet in terms of shoot your shot. If I'm going to try and look for another crossbow. But I don't know. I'll see. I should paint a Nordic-type world map on the wall. I debated doing something to the walls, but I am also nervous about doing something to plaster. Dante, you had a question. You had a question about walls. What's your wall question? If you had something that you wanted to mail me, would there be a way to do that? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is the postal service. I'm nervous to ask, but we can figure that out with a mod or in DMs or something. Well, I'm oddly curious now. Justin, what's happening, dude? Yeah, great to see the notification. Great to be able to dish it out. And I also want to comment. I haven't said it yet. I don't know if anyone here. I'm talking with our folks over here on Twitch.tv, but I don't know. Is anyone on YouTube? I think I have a YouTube stream happening. I don't think anyone is watching it. This is my first time trying dual streaming. I did buy a lot of internet at this new place. Bajas, you saw a video. Jesus fucking. I wasn't an earthquake. That was me slamming my knee into my new desk, and I shook everything. Bajas, you saw a video of a guy testing bows, and the arrows actually go further without the fletching, so just go for the long shots. I could try that. What the heck is? You know what? I just realized I think that the YouTube stream is running on like a heckin' delay. Because on that screen, it's still just showing my starting soon screen, and it just showed like, is it not live? Oh no, it's not. That's why, because I'm not there. Now I'm watching it live. I was like, what is happening? Don't break the house. Okay, no, it's fine. I'll just break the desk. You live reasonably close to where they keep the Mappa Mundi, and you thought if you could get a replica, it'd look great on that back wall? Ooh. That's an idea. I can totally, Brichala, I can definitely see it. I can see it on my comment screen, but it doesn't look like you can see it on OBS, which is fine, because, yeah, the chats, I think, technically are supposed to be separated. But yeah, it is working, so that's great. Yeah, guys, we are dual streaming. We're officially dual streaming on Twitch and YouTube. This is the first time I've done it. I'm very excited, and both seem to be holding together really stable. I did pay a lot of money for internet at this place, so so when I was living at my old house, I had 1 gigabit internet, right? It was 1,000 megabits per second upload speed, theoretically, which I never really hit the cap on that. I don't know why. It just wasn't very good. But when we came here, Brichala was always frustrated with the internet being slow, and I was frustrated, and we said, hey, let's shell out a little bit more. We'll see what our plans offer and what we got going on. So somehow, despite moving to a relatively rural town of a very modest 7,000 people is the population here. 7,004 now, I guess. 7,004 people here. We managed to get a 5 gigabit plan for around the same amount of money I was paying for the 1 gigabit plan before. So I have 5 times the internet. What's the new relative area? Midwest. Midwest. I'm in the central time zone, and I am drivable to a few major cities, which is good. Yeah, fewer people to share the line with. We're in the same time zone. I guess so. Yeah, now we are on Central Time. Less furries there? That's true. That's true. I was in Pittsburgh before, which is where the furry convention happens. The annual Anthrocon, which is one of the like most fun events that happens in Pittsburgh. Anthrocon happens, and it just takes over the news cycle because crazy shit was always happening. Central northernly or southerly? Northernly. I am drivable to St. Louis, Chicago, maybe Indianapolis. Those are all cities that I can reach within like a day, like an afternoon of driving. Ken, you almost took a job in Pittsburgh? It was a pretty good city. It was a pretty decent place. That was like my second time. We moved during this heat wave. Yes. Let me tell you guys. I'll be straight up. This move was maybe some of the worst 4 to 6 weeks of my life. We had so many bad things happen. This move was essential, and the good that's going to come from it is immeasurable. However, it wasn't. I don't know if that was a typo saying it wasn't or it was. We're now in the middle. It was in the middle of the worst and not worst. It wasn't bad because of the house, because of the process. Exactly. The house is great. The house is great. Everything that we need here is going to be fulfilled. Everything seems to be looking up, which is amazing. Just the actual 4 to 6 weeks of going from point A to point B, we had so many things go wrong. Okay, for context, this is going to sound horrible. I shouldn't lead with this. For context, me backing a 15-foot U-Haul truck into a lady's car at a red light was fighting tooth and nail to keep a top 5 slot on like bad things that have happened. That's what we're dealing with here. I think the number one bad thing though was the mortgage company that we were working with didn't submit our paperwork on time. And so we're 19 hours out from pen hitting paper on signing for the house. And I get told, yeah, we have to wait on the USDA. We got like a very specific type of USDA loan because we're in a rural area. And they're like, yeah, we have to wait for the USDA to circle back. It can, these things can take some time. And I'm like, okay, well, what kind of time are we talking about? They're like, oh, like on average, probably something around like 5 days. And I'm like, we're supposed to be signing this shit tomorrow. It didn't take 5 days. But we did not sign it that tomorrow. We ended up signing it, I think, like 3 days later. 2 or 3 days later. But, yeah, we had to live a couple extra days in a hotel with 2 crazy small children and every possession that we owned sitting in boxes in a U-Haul truck that I was paying extra for. So we ended up getting everything worked out in the end when all was said and done. But that was a really stressful time. Every time you back up, the mic stops picking me up. Really? Is it that subtle? Like this? This is bad compared to this? I mean, I know being right up on it. Maybe I just need to oh yeah, I see that. That's so weird. Why is it that sensitive this time? Let's pull up the app. Guys, this is we're very much test streaming today. Let's take our attenuation gate and bring it up to something like this, like -50 maybe. That might make a difference. Is there like a sensitivity or something? No, those are like equalizers. Compressors? No. All right, let's save that. Oh, you know what? There might be something on OBS. I might have like a filter on OBS. Audio input capture. Let's try that. Ah. VST. Please select a plugin. I don't even know what that one is. De-esser. This has its own noise gate. The close threshold is... Yeah, we'll set it to -50. That probably makes some kind of difference. Open threshold is -50. We'll do... Oh, nope. We'll do -60. No. What do you want to do? 55. Compressor limiter. No, the limiter stops me from going too loud. So if I'm like, ah! Did that not work? It's supposed to stop it from getting too loud. I don't know if that worked. Maybe I need to make that a little quieter. Compressor. Output gain. Maybe that's what it needs to be. It needs to be like that, maybe. Oh, it wasn't too loud? Okay, well, that's fine. All right, so let's try with this. Yeah, it is going to be... Gosh. Yeah, I'll have to fiddle around with the mic settings, or I'm just going to have to glue this thing to my face as I wobble around. We'll see. We'll see. I also tend to fluctuate my volume when I talk too, which is probably a big factor of it. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. I did turn the volume down on the music, which I think is going to be a good factor as well. Hopefully not drown myself out too much. Okay. But yeah, so we did eventually get into this house. Everything seems to be working out, and I did take a decent amount of time getting everything set up. I built a whole new desk. I am going to have to do something too, because so I'm in the room where all the utilities are. You can't really see it. I have a nice carpet that I put down here. This is actually over a concrete floor. Just off camera over there, there's just an open hole in the ground. That's a drain that goes down, I don't know where. But there's a drain, and I think our utilities empty into it. And then they go back. We've got the AC unit. We have a second washer and dryer unit, which is where all my work clothes go. And we have our like water heater and stuff down here. So I have everything that I need to build a partition wall. I have like a portable sliding partition wall that I want to set up in the interim, because I don't know if you guys can hear the but I can. So I'm going to try and set that up. Yeah, you guys can't? All right, well, that's good at least. The noise gates are working. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fans. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get these things. I'll take a look at this map that Dante was talking about. But yeah, we have a lot of options to use back here. One thing that I liked before that it's kind of hard to tell with how I have the light right now. Let me see if I can adjust it. There was a way that I did it where like you could see the cracks in the plaster. It made it actually look pretty legit and like medieval. Hold on. Yeah, it wasn't quite working the way I wanted. It wasn't quite working the way that I wanted. But yeah, when I had the lights plugged into the candelabra before it electrocuted me, the angle like highlighted the cracks and the unevenness in the plaster, and it made it look like a medieval tavern wall. I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate the effect. Right now, I have the lights sitting on like, it's literally just a table lamp that I took the shade off of, and I have it just sitting on the floor. Because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to... my lighting situation was thrown off by the electrocuting candelabra. So I gotta figure out. Get like a whole suit of Viking armor in the corner. That'd be so cool, dude. Me and Brichella have passively kept our eyes out for like a mannequin, like a sewing mannequin, for a long time. To get to set up in the corner to hold like cloaks and stuff. Getting a whole suit of Viking armor, it's gonna be expensive though. I've looked that shit up before. What else? I actually have something prepped for us today, and I think that I'm gonna have to mess with the audio, because if the microphone is that low sensitivity, I'm gonna have to turn up the sensitivity on it so we can get louder. But I have something prepared for us today. And this is going to be really fun, and this is going to be a fun little test here too. So let's see if this works. All right, are you guys ready? This is the quote unquote main event for the night, as far as I can tell. This is going to be the closest thing that we have to a main event. Was that the right remote? That's right. I got a... Oh gosh, I freaked out. I got a projector. I got a projector hooked up. And we had it before with the 80s projector screen that I kept in the corner for the couple of presentations. But the 80s projector screen is too small. I had it where it was like right here. And look how big this is. Look how much space this takes up. It's so much wall. I gotta turn it actually. It's too much wall. Okay, so now Yeah, no signal my ass. There it is. There it is. Okay, so I've got that. And then I brought this, and I think this is... Yeah, it's here. Okay, and... File... How do I start it? You can redeem history videos now. I know. I mean, I don't... Like, I probably won't keep the projector running the whole time. But... No, that's like paste. Oh, here we go. Slideshow. There we go. All right, we did it. Oh, gosh. Let me see what we're going to need to do in terms of lighting to make this visible. Hold on. What if I do this? Okay. That's still so bright. Why is that so bright? Now, wait, well, hold on. What if I turn this light back on? Oh, that actually maybe helped a little bit. I don't think it did. That didn't do squat. All right. It's really... Can I turn the brightness down on the projector? That's another idea. That's another idea. Guys, this is so helpful. Oh my gosh. That actually did help a lot. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, that actually did help a lot. All right, here we go. Now, there's also a mouse that comes with it, but that's for the projector settings. That's not for the actual mouse settings. I'm gonna have to just take my mouse because it's wireless now. Okay, so I've got this where it's over here. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the return of the Runestream, subtitled "Things That Were, Things That Are, and Some Things That Have Not Yet Come to Pass." Thank you all for coming. So, as an overview, pay attention. There is going to be a test at the end. We can make a second Cahokia presentation? Maybe. All right, there will be a test. Everybody make sure. All right. So, today... Actually, I'm just going to sit. You know what I need? I need a laser pointer or a stick. Do I have a stick? No, I don't have it down here. One of the things that we found in this house was a historic yardstick that was left by one of the construction companies, the lumber companies, that had a part in building the house back in like the early 1900s. And we know it's historic, but Schlatt said it. She found it and was like, oh, look, it's a historic yardstick. And I said, how do you know it's historic? And she said, look at the phone number on the stick. And it said like, oh, such and such lumber company, telephone 74. I was like, oh, they were the 74th phone number in the state. They were just, phone number 74? That's how they were measuring it? Okay. Yeah, that's a historic stick. And you're also so right. Not only do I have a sword, I do also have like a Gandalf stick. Like I have some kind of walking stick. Do I think that? Yes. Because this is rubber tipped. So this has got a rubber tip on it. So we're going to use the Gandalf stick. All right. Thank you for pointing out the things that I set up in my room and that I should have been aware exists. Oh, yes. Very good stick. Yes, it's a good stick. A good stick, viewers. Welcome. Yes, here we go. Time to study. We don't have the designated note taker. That's okay. Don't worry. The VODs are saved. So, where's the mouse? There it is. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what was. We already started a bit with the house move, work, mental health. What is house move, work, mental health, and of course, what will house move, work, mental health? It's the same thing. Where this is a time dilation of the topics. Too much information? Too fucking bad. It's my stream. This is the presentation. This is what's been going on the past few months. It's going to be hard to read. We've moved house, right? We've moved house. We moved halfway across the United States, of a distance of approximately 525 miles or 845 kilometers for those of you who speak European Quebecois. Ugh. This has resulted in a bigger house to contain our children, which means we somehow still don't have any space. And as I mentioned before, the worst 4 to 6 weeks of my life, for real, on God. All right? Make sure, note takers, make sure that's 2 for reals. Thanks for mentioning the correct units. Yeah, no problem. Now, what we've got going on with work the past few months, it's been a while since I started. It's been a while since I've taken the hiatus, right? Since I stopped streaming. It's been almost 3 months. It's Berchala. She brought the stick. She brought 72. I was wrong about the phone number. I got the phone number wrong. Oh god, that would have been so embarrassing if I dialed the wrong company when I called 72. Here we go. So let's see if we can see it. Compliments of Weldon Lumber Co. Telephone 72. So there's the proof. There's the proof. Old stick. Now, pay attention. Work has been busy AF, as usual. Traveling made it hard for me to do everything that I needed to do while also maintaining the schedule. You guys know how it goes. Keeping up that Thursday, Friday, Saturday stream schedule when, at least half, a good chunk of the weeks, I was driving on Fridays or Saturdays. That was usually my travel day. I traveled home on Fridays and or Saturdays. And so I would always end up having this situation where I would either be getting into a hotel too late to start a stream, or I would be leaving a hotel and getting home too late to start a stream there. So I would miss one of my nights almost every week. And then a lot of times the hotel internet was inconsistent and it was hard to keep a good internet. I think we have a second old stick. This one's from Farmer City Cheese Company. What was their phone number? There was a cheese company? Why did the cheese company have a yardstick? Farmer City Cheese Company. An Instagram hashtag? Maybe it's like giving out a branded bookmark. I don't know. Either way. Weldon Furton Lumber Inc. established 1963. Really? Wait, Weldon? How do they only have telephone 72 in 1963? Is it? And the measuring, the cheese stick measuring stick is for measuring the cheese. Was it from one of those renovations then? It must have been. Okay, I was mistaken. It was not built by Weldon Lumber Company. You feel like someone in that house collected yardsticks? Yeah, the fact that we have 2 old yardsticks is probably indicative of something. They were hidden in the little cupboard under the stairs. To be fair, I say it was a bad few weeks for me, but you guys had those weeks without my streams. So really, who had it worse? You know what, base Dante? That's true. I take it back. The streams were okay. Oh, cool. 1963, they would have still had phone operators, so maybe it was like line 72. Oh, right, like the switchboard operators. That's possible. That's possible. That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, on top of all the work that I was dealing with, all the traveling that I had to do, Bridgeshala also had to do some work travel. She had a lot of work that she was also trying to do. So while we're trying to juggle the kids along our work schedules and everything, it made it difficult to maintain the stream. And then, of course, mental health. It's worth mentioning, guys. I had too many plates spinning at once, trying to deal with the streams, trying to deal with the kids, trying to deal with work, all at the same time, too much going on. There was a little bit of burnout. As I said, these kids, by the way, everyone in chat, please thank Bridgeshala every single day. She is the only thing standing between Gibble and the utter destruction of this world. My second son, I'm sorry to report, is as the Titans of Tartarus, crawling henceforth to rain destruction as a force of nature on this plane. Every single day. And she is the only thing standing between us and the end of days. So please be sure to thank Bridgeshala in chat. Surprised that Sore Wallet isn't in there. Sore Wallet was the reason for the house move. Sore Wallet was the reason for the house move, and yeah, that did circle back. But yeah, so this is where we're in, and then the last line there, it's kind of hard to read because it's blocked by the chair, but I said had to lock the fuck in. 5 more bits from Bridgeshala. So yeah, it was really a matter of like the reason why I took that hiatus and the reason why I took a while getting back was because I had to make sure everything was locked down. Now the current situation in these categories, right? Our house move. It's an old house, 120 years old. We've got repairs. We've got litany of problems that we're handling. And actually, we're in a good spot, though, because it could have been a lot worse. That structural engineer who came in today, he told us that our foundation is looking pretty good. 122 years, precisely. Our foundation is looking pretty good, which is awesome. The family did a lot of water mitigation. The last owners in here did water mitigation. So, did they update the electric? If your question is, are we still on knob and tube wiring? Most certainly not. We are, yeah, it is an up-to-date house. The one thing that's really annoying, though, in the basement, the outlets aren't ground level. All the outlets are fixed to the ceiling on like the underboards. So like this whole setup here is running out of one outlet that's right here. It's drilled into a board. And I have like a splitter, and then I had to buy like a 15-foot long cable to get to a power surge protected power block down here. And the desk has outlets in it, so the desk is plugged in. I've got outlets up there. I posted a picture in Discord of the absolutely unhinged monitor setup that I have, where I hooked my third monitor to watch chat. I have it hooked on an old bike rack drilled into the ceiling. Crazy things going on down here. Super Sand Legend. What is going on? You can come out of hiding now, but you truly hope that I'm recording all of this. Fucking wild. Missed you, dork. Yeah, I do keep my VODs, and now it's on YouTube as well. So YouTube definitely saves VODs. It's going to be a whole separate VOD playlist category on YouTube. So that'll be a very fun time. Bahaz, when you moved into your place, the TV outlet was hanging from a loose wire from the ceiling. Let's go. I have the most unhinged spaghetti ceiling setup going right now. My internet, like I said before, I'm paying actually not that much more money for 5 gigabits per second internet, which is why I'm dual streaming 1080p right now. And I have a 100-foot long Ethernet cable. I had to buy an Ethernet splitter. It's hooked up in the other room, and I have 100-foot long Ethernet cable winding through the ceiling, shoved through this wall, and then running down and around and into my computer setup. It's crazy behavior over here. You just had a thought about the yardsticks? What about them, Dante? My thumbnails will be S tier. I have the most basic bitch thumbnail right now. I do like to do S tier thumbnails on my YouTube videos in general, but the live ones, I don't know what I'm going to have to come up with something more generic, because I feel like doing an individual live stream thumbnail 3 times a week is going to be unhinged. Please take Justin back. He's been an annoying refugee in your chat. What the fuck? Leave Justin alone. He's a good guy. I found 2 of the yardsticks. They're old. You don't know why they were there, but it's a pattern. As an archaeologist, don't you have to say they were for ceremonial purposes? I think that ritual yardsticks are certainly an option. Ritual purpose yardsticks are certainly an option. We have very little explanation for what they were for otherwise. But the litany of problems, we did dodge a bullet. Bridgeshala went into the attic. We have a 3rd floor attic like on this place, full floor size. We are hoping to finish it at some point in our future, assuming that we can get the money and be able to handle that process. It's probably going to be a lot of money, but we want to finish that 3rd floor. And Bridgeshala went up there to check on some stuff, and she noticed some very uncomfortable animal droppings, coupled with some rustling and squeaking sounds. And we spent the majority of this week being very alarmed that we might have bats. We might have bats in our belfry, chat. And the inspector today says no. He says he saw a bird's nest. He said he saw a bird's nest and that the droppings might just be like general rodent. Bats are absolutely terrible is an incredibly true statement. I don't know if you all know this. I'm actually somewhat familiar with the bat law. Bat law, not too dissimilar from the Dane law in a lot of ways. The bat laws bats are, I work with bat surveyors a lot. A lot of times when I'm out doing archaeological survey for projects, they have people out there doing bat surveys to make sure that bat nesting trees are not being damaged by projects. It's a very common biologist project that happens with these contracting and engineering firms, of which I work for. Bats are they are almost all protected. They are all protected. There are times of year, which we are currently in, where you're not allowed to evict bats from your house unless they enter your finished living spaces, right? Bats in my unfinished 3rd floor attic, legally, I am not allowed to do anything to stop them from living there until after like the 2nd week of August or something. I would have to wait 2 weeks. And then once that happens, you can't kill them, you can't do anything. Bat squatter rights, yes. You got to put one-way doors in so that the bats fly out and then can't get back in. And then they block up all the ways that they crawl into your house, and they basically just stop them and force them to go find somewhere else. The reason why they have to wait is that we're coming out of the breeding and gestation period for new young bats. And if we try and mitigate the bats by having them leave and not be able to come back, then we're just left with a bunch of baby bats that can't get fed and don't know how to fly yet. So you have to wait until the end of the bat season. The problem with that then becomes you have a very short window of maybe 2 or 3 months where you have to get everything done to get the bats out of there. Because then when October, it's like sometime in late October or November, the hibernation season kicks in. And then the bats are hibernating in your attic and you can't touch them until they wake up in March. And so we still have a bat guy coming on Monday. A Batman, if you will, who's coming on Monday to make sure that there are no bats in our belfry. And we're hoping that we get the all clear because the inspector today gave us the all clear. But assuming that's the case, that should be a relatively easy fix and a lot of money off our plate. Because fixing up the bat situation was going to be like $3,000 or something, like something crazy like that. So, but in addition to that, we do have a lot of other stuff that we've been trying to deal with. It's been a nightmare trying to get a couch for the playroom for the kids, all that sort of stuff. Not to mention the fact that unpacking is a struggle when you have 2 ADHD-riddled children and an ADHD-riddled dad all driving my poor wife up the wall when all we want to try and do is get our boxes unpacked. And I'm gone 5 days a week because of work. And then, of course, getting everything unpacked and setting up the stream space completely from scratch. All the bells and whistles, all the rigmarole, dealing with new equipment. I have new stuff that I brought. I have a new keyboard. I have a new camera. I have all sorts of new stuff that came in here. Trying to get this all set up and figured out in a way has been crazy. Juggling all of that with work. We're in a good spot right now. I have a regular, recurring situation in a city that's about 2.5 hours away. So at least for like another 2 weeks, and I'm hoping that, and I think that the people I'm working with, the company I'm working for, I think that they're hoping also that I can just kind of keep that running for a while. I have 2 more weeks. I've done 2 weeks already. I'm hoping I can just run it indefinitely. And it'll be a situation where I could be at the hotel during the weekdays and then home on the weekends. And so the stability of that will be awesome for being able to keep us A, paid, B, regular with planning. The internet at the hotel that I'm at is very reasonable, and I'm about to tier up on my hotel membership, and I'll get better internet quality when I tier up. So we're going to be in good shape. We are going to be in good shape for the hotel streams, which is point 2, good hotel internet. And of course, point 3, the current thing is trying to figure out how I can balance. See if I can do this right. How am I going to balance my home and hotel stream schedule? Okay, I've got that. And then do I need to... Does turning up the contrast help? I don't think that helps. I don't think that helps. Sharpness? Oh, that does help. Okay, that actually did help me. Did that help you guys? Nice. PowerPoint stream. Yes. We're doing the PowerPoint welcome back stream. All right, I think that's actually that's actually a lot better on my eyes. I think that that does look better. That does look better. You still can't read everything exactly, but we'll figure it out. I just won't use white backgrounds anymore. That was my own fault. You can read most of it. I'll read the rest. Don't worry about it. And then of course now, where I'm at on my mental health now. I'm in the recovery period after all of the moving stress, and it's going well. We're prepping for the start of the new school year for the boys, and daycare for the little one. That's going to take a big weight off our shoulders. We're going to be able to actually lock in and concentrate and do stuff during the days instead of, while it has been fun getting to explore the new place, we've been seeing a lot of really awesome zoos for Blue Eyes White Dragon. Gibble has really enjoyed having a big open space to run around in and play in. He's already exhausted the nearly double workable play space that he's had so far. But we've been exploring local parks and water pads and all sorts of cool stuff. I want to try and drag the family out to the city I'm working in to see the big zoo there pretty soon. We have a lot of cool stuff. But getting them into the school year is going to help regiment in that schedule and give us a lot more time to get the house in a good shape. And then, of course, I am itching to be back into this streaming setup situation. I'm really excited that we can start going live again because I have missed it. I do genuinely love doing this and hanging out and doing all sorts of cool stuff. And yeah, the main thing is that I kind of decided tonight, or this week rather, I have been very OCD with how I've been setting up my streaming space and how I've been trying to prep for stream and have everything ready to go. And I think I just kind of decided, I was like, not everything's done. Not everything's hung up. Not everything's ready. Fuck it. We're gonna just fuck it. We'll do it live in the literal sense. All jokes and stuff aside, you're really happy. It sounds like a really great situation and the family. It is. Yeah, it was. We were. Yeah, we where we were our town raised our taxes by a significant margin. It was something like, I think when we moved in, we were paying like $3,000 to $4,000 a year in taxes, and when we moved out, they had raised them up to almost $9,000 a year. So our taxes were about 3 times what they were. On top of that, we had a lot of credit card debt that was rising up because of the injuries that I've had. Because I had hernia surgery at the beginning of this year that had me missing some time. I had my back blow out a couple years ago that had me missing a lot of time. So we had a lot of stuff that was compounding, and moving out of that house is putting a big weight off of the painful wallet somebody mentioned earlier. And that means that we'll have more time to hang out and do fun stuff. So let's talk about the fun stuff. The future is now, old man. That's me. I'm the old man. You see it? No matter what we do in the move, you can't erase what these children... You can't erase the pigmentation these children took from my face. The house move. 120-year-old house will get its TLC. We will be able to get this house zhuzhed up in the way that needs to happen. It's not even all that much stuff. Like I said, the guy came in today. He gave it the all clear. Well, not the all clear, but he said the problems that we have are not imminent, which honestly is great news. Not even gonna lie, the gray is hot. Well, I mean, Silver Fox is what it is. It hasn't completely taken over yet. It hasn't completely taken over. I'll see what... Britt Schlatt has been very polite about it, and I think that's the important part. Now, with the house and setting up everything, I say right here, I'll sort my shit. I put this down, and I regret not taking it out. Chat deco stream. I had an idea of, and this I guess is pseudo related to Dante mentioning that map. I had an idea of like setting a limit of decoration stuff and having us pick out some things to put up. Although it's already really crowded, so I'm not sure if we need it, but it's what it is. I've got the salt and pepper look and 100% gonna hit the Silver Fox eventually. I did have to live through a lot of Silver Fox allegations for my father when I was in college. I had to bear that burden, so it's only fair that I get to inherit the mantle. I did put also down historic property archaeology streams. This is a harebrained idea. But I have a lot of I don't have a lot of backyard, but I do have a very big garage. And I had some ideas about the internet connection is doo-doo out there, but if I can get a better signal to the garage, trying to get a little bit more like practical archaeology done. Like if I could put in some one calls on my property because I might have things that I need to do anyway. Like I know for a fact that we have a lot of gravel next to our driveway that I want to pull out and remediate back to grass. And I feel like that's something that I would have to pull in a digging one call in for anyway. So if I was to do that, then like during the process of pulling the gravel out, I would just throw down an archaeology unit shovel test and just show you guys what an actual shovel test looks like. Because I've talked about it a lot and I've like kind of teased examples, but it would be great because I would actually have the right kind of yard and property to do it. And where I am, I don't know what's in the ground here. What I do know is that this house that was built at like towards the founding of the town by who at the time was, I think, the richest guy in the county. He was a banker. And he was one of the richest dudes in the county. And he had multiple parcels and like some farms and stuff. And I know Bridge Shala had one article that she had pulled up about him where apparently one of the original owners did lose a watch. And then like 2 or 3 years later, like I think one of his kids that was farming the property found it. So like it was like, oh yeah, he found like his really fancy like gold watch. So I can't promise treasure. What I can say is that I happen to be in a part of the country that is very dense on indigenous sites. That I've done a lot of indigenous archaeology, indigenous Native American archaeology in this part of the country. And obviously, being in a town, and I can't imagine that we're not going to find anything in terms of like random tchotchkes and stuff. If you think that that me digging in the backyard in the United States, you find gold tablets, you could start a whole new religion and take over Ohio or something. Yeah, people have started religions for less, I think. Oh, that's what it was. His father lost an Elgin watch outside of the town, and a tenant farmer found it 20 years later and returned it to the son. Holy cow, that's quite the tale. But yeah, no, I mean, legally speaking, and this is weird because I've never been in a position to be on this side of this law before, but legally speaking in the United States, archaeological materials recovered on your property belong to you. So if I was to find ancient gold tablets that I could subsequently start a religion with on my property, legally speaking, they would be mine. The exception to that is human remains. Like if we were to find a burial site, that would trigger a whole series of things. That would become a whole thing. And a lot of laws, and it would involve like repatriation and stuff like that. Same with fossils, unless it's on government land. I think fossils are different. I feel like fossils are a lot more loosey-goosey. I think you can... Because I know a lot of people will just pillage fossils. And I think that depending on the type and the place, that it's usually a little bit more... Like, I've heard of so many people that say that they like just grab fossils. The only fossils I have, I purchased at a store. At like a gem crystal shop. And they're tucked away somewhere around here. I have like a fish fossil or something. But like, I would imagine that if you found like a real dinosaur fossil, like a good one, that you wouldn't probably have to do something about it. But I would. But we'll see. But yeah, we could do that. And we can also just look around at some of the other stuff that we have around this house. Because we've found some really neat things. There's one or two rooms up here where you could see the layers of like the plaster and the wallpaper peeling away, and you can see the older wallpapers and the designs. Like there's one room where there's like, it's very clearly like a pond with like lily pads and geese, but it's super faded out and it's like tucked only in a corner in like a pantry behind other stuff. It's really cool. So we could just look at some of the stuff for like what goes into these old turn-of-the-century American-style houses. Speaking about animal parts, it was your birthday on Tuesday, and guess what you got? Is it new pieces for your suit? Happy birthday, by the way, Dante. Happy belated birthday. Or did you get a whole new one? A 30,000-year-old Romanian cave bear tooth? That's cool as hell. Post a picture in Discord. I want to see it. That's cool as hell. 30,000-year-old Romanian cave bear tooth. Wow. I will say, like, at least I feel this way. I don't know if paleontologists in chat, which channel? History chat? History chit chat, maybe? Animals? Do I still have the animal channel? Like pets? Let me see. Let me see if I can see it from here. No, I don't have the animal channel. I thought I did. I think it's one of the other ones that has it. Yeah, you could just put it in like, or you could just put it in coagulate, wherever you want to put it. History chit chat. I'll be straight up. In the thumbnail, it looked like a banana. Hold on. Open media link. Look at that. Doesn't it? It looked like a banana. It looked like a banana on the bear. I'm so sorry. I opened it at first. I'm like, banana for scale? Oh no, that's it. Bear-nana. Yes, exactly. That's so funny, but that is super cool. Yeah, you guys can check it out in Discord for a better view. Carpathian Mountains, Romania. Pleistocene epoch. 30,000 years. Comes with a nifty little QR code. Very cool. Very fun. But yeah. But yeah, so there's so we have a lot of cool stuff that we could do here. Right, so that's where we're sitting in terms of the house. We have a lot of cool things that we could potentially do here now, coming up in the next few months. And then as far as work, as I said before, I'm hoping that this current gig is going to run for a hot minute. We can have some regularity, we can have some actual scheduling, and we can have some game plans. It'll be good. However, the schedule as it stands now means that we're probably going to be leaning more on hotel streams. So you're going to probably see me more green screened at a hotel than you are going to see me here, at least to start for now. So I will discuss schedule here in a little bit. Note takers, get ready. And then on the third point, hey, at the end of the day, at least I'm getting that bread. And as far as mental health goes, fuck it, we'll do it live. Let's go. Schedule time. This is the big one. Here's what we are going to be doing. There is going to be a change. I have swapped Friday for Monday. So now, the schedule on a weekly basis. Sunday, Archaeology Brunch Stream, where we talk about news, new discoveries, cool little archaeo gaming themed topics and games. It would start at 11 a.m. Central Time, so noon Eastern. But as before, this is not a guaranteed stream. The Sunday brunch stream will not happen every week. It's really subject to what's going on with work, what's going on with my kids, and what's going on in the world of archaeology and archaeo gaming. I put it on there because we love the brunch stream. It's a staple, and I do want to do it when I can. It's just a matter of when I can. Like tomorrow, probably not going to have a brunch stream, but because I have too much stuff to do while I'm home. But there might be a week where I am at the hotel over the weekend, in which case, yeah, we'll do a brunch stream. Or if I am home and am not scrambling to get stuff done and to get back to work that night, and the kids are being chill and all that, and yeah, I might be able to pop down and do a Sunday brunch stream, talk about some cool archaeology stuff. Then we are moving to Monday nights at I put 8 to 9 Central start. What I mean from that is, I'm not going to lock myself to a 9 p.m. start time. If I'm ready earlier in the evening, if I finish up my end of day work emails, everything that I've got to do, if I have time, I could start as early as 8 p.m. Central, which would put me back to my normal time around 9 p.m. Eastern. But I'm going to try and aim to be ready and live somewhere in the 8 p.m. hour Central. That's my goal. Same thing for Thursdays. These streams right now, the Monday and Thursdays, will mostly be in the hotel. So we're going to be continuing our hotel-friendly games, especially while we try and figure out whether or not I can dual stream from the hotel and whether or not we're going to be able to maintain this live on both Twitch and YouTube situation, which we're still kind of figuring out here. Which reminds me. Is that still working? Yes, it is still live. So that does mean, yeah, laptop, hotel, and internet-friendly games, which is fine. We actually have a lot of fun with those. I know I have to, well, I'll get to the games here in a minute. And then, of course, Saturdays, like tonight, 9 p.m. Central start, hopefully. Mostly these will be home streams here. And that does also mean I'm probably going to be able to end those ones later. I'm hoping I can end those ones later in the night because I won't have work Sunday mornings. At least for now. And yeah, it'll give me like a little bit, like I can spend more time here at the home stream and kind of get it set up, especially because chances, we know what I am. I know what I'm about. And the 9 p.m. start time is hard to maintain with the kids. But that's going to be where I do like the cool big game showcases. And so what games am I talking about? Let's get into it. Here's some games that I've been keeping my eye on that you guys can maybe expect to start seeing around the stream pretty soon. First, there's a game that just came out this week, early access on Game Pass, called Tears of Metal. Game I half-heartedly called it Scotland Forever the game. I probably should have. I admit I made this PowerPoint presentation on my phone.
So do you.
Commissar resubscribed for 69 months. Bro, what a big resubscribe. 69 months? Nice is right. I'm not even upset about the punk weenie. Nice. I'm halfway there. Is that we missed 6-7? We did miss 6-7 for Commissar. Someone might be around 6-7. Let me see who subscribed. Who subscribed tonight? What were their numbers? I feel like Mr. and Mrs. Gunner were the other big resubscriptions, and they've been around a very long time. Miss Gunner, we did miss 6-7. Miss Gunner is 68, and Top Gunner was 71. So we did also miss Mrs. Gunner's 6-7, but we have time for Mrs. Gunner's 69 next month. So mark your calendars, everybody. Gridshalla also at 71 months. Is 71 months? That's how long I've been affiliated. 71 months. That's crazy. You feel accomplished? Yeah, you should actually. Base Commissar, well done. W. My mate said that his kids, quote, don't think 6-7 is cool anymore because they saw the Pope do it. Dude, the Pope doing 6-7 was so goated. So goated. Just based Pope. It was so funny, dude. Killing 6-7. John 6-7. Dude, the Pope doing 6-7. He looked so confused. He was trying his hardest. Add a Pope skin to Fortnite. It'll be fine. A Pope doing 6-7 in Fortnite. Actually, I think we should have an extinction level event if that happens. I'm pretty sure we as a species should collectively die off. I'll tell my wife to let Gibble out of containment if that happens, and just let him run havoc. Fuck, that got me. John 6-7. Yeah, Tears of Metal, Scotland Forever. It looks like an ARPG kind of like hack and slash action game. Let me try and pull these things up. I should have cut in trailers or images of these games while I was doing this PowerPoint presentation, but I admit I made the PowerPoint on my phone while I was in the car at work. So it looks pretty metal, pun intended, with the Tears of Metal part. But yeah, it's kind of like this early access, oh god, this isn't gonna work. This is gonna be a mess. But it looks pretty fun. It looks pretty fun and interesting. I want to give it a try. It's also going to be a good opportunity for me to blab about Scotland, because I got my master's there, and I know a little bit about the archaeology there. So it would be a good way for me to talk about that. After that, I'm thinking about busting out Kingdom Come Deliverance. I've never played them. I always hesitate with the open world games because we get distracted. We get ADHD'd. And I don't want to spend it's always months and months and months to try and finish a game, or I just never do end up finishing it. KCD is great, but beware the save system. There's mods for manual saves if you prefer that. I could look into it. I might. It's very long. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've heard that both games are very long. And so I might do a plot speed run, kind of like what I did with some other games recently. You think KCD2 is one of your favorite games of all time? That's high praise. It's one of those things where these are games that I would probably be unreasonably obsessed with if I wasn't streaming. Pretty much most of the gaming that I do is when I'm streaming. And if I'm playing a game on stream, I tend to speed running it and stuff. I'll spend a lot of time hoarding ears. Okay. But I've never played these games, and they're a great opportunity to talk about historical RPGs. Even if it becomes a thing where it's we just bust it out when we have time and we have nothing else going on. Let's get a little progress on the KCDs. That's a good way to do that and kind of cycle in some chats and stuff. So I think that's probably going to be something we end up doing at some point. ArcRP. I have this listed on the games for now option, although I think this is getting bumped back. So these are games that are on my docket. ArcRP, the new Glyph season, not just the new Glyph season, the new campaign, the new everything is happening. Glyph RP coming back on ASA for the first time. Well, not the first time, but the first time for the main campaign is on Ark Survival Ascended. They're going to be doing a series of campaigns in a whole new lore realm, a whole new campaign setting with new staff, new work. It's going to be a pretty big fun time. ASA, I've been seeing a lot of like TikTok clips about ASA. So many things that I have no idea. I had no idea that they added. Like I saw a video today for like a new mosasaur. The new mosasaur can like jump on land and like whale waddle across the land to grab animals. It's like ginormous. There's so many things they added to this game I don't even know about. It's going to be like playing a whole new game again. Especially because I have to figure out what DLCs I need to buy. Because I'm sure there's a lot of them. I haven't bought any. And then you know, what else? We have whatever else draws our fancy, you know? The internet is our oyster. I heard apparently Morrowind got added to a browser format now, where you can play Morrowind on a browser. That's pretty cool. I also have seen a couple of really interesting, like, extractor games, like The Mound, which is about conquistadors in a Call of Cthulhu-style setting, where you have, like, a madness mechanic. It's like you and the homies go to an island, you go insane, and you all kill each other and monsters and get out with loot. I've also been seeing a lot of clips for like these things called like, I think like Mistfall Hunter, which looks a little bit more like ARPG extractor, and Witchfire, which is like a first-person shooter fantasy, dark fantasy RPG. So many crazy like looter extractor party games that are out right now. I wouldn't mind dipping my toes in one of those. The Mound is the best when you play poorly, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I always play games poorly. Lucky for us, I suck at video games, so it'll be a great time. Now, games to do in hotels and filler nights. God of War Ragnarok. We got about halfway through that campaign at the hotels, and I stopped streaming. I want to get back onto that when we get back to the hotel streams, probably next week. And I want to start playing God of War again. I want to finish up that campaign, have a little bit of air of finality. It's the Viking God of Wars, and they just announced 2 more games in the series, so I gotta catch up so that I'm ready when those ones come out. Good thing Chris is bad at video games. Yeah, exactly. Good thing I'm bad at games, so the Mound can be. There's a couple other really silly games that are coming on early access and coming up soon. Smash Hit Museum. As far as I understand it, hit rocks, get artifacts. It's a little game. They give you a hammer and they give you rocks and you smash through it to get artifacts. You got to tidy them up, tuck them up somewhere, get them all nice and clean. It looks fun. Similar vein, Tidy Up History. If anyone has seen that game that went viral now, is like about a wizard library where you have magic powers and you have to just take books that have all collapsed into the middle of the room and put them back where they're supposed to be. This is the kind of same thing. It's a cozy museum repair and upkeep game. That sounds like a fun way to spend a night. Have a few drinks, set up a museum the way that I want to do it. It can be fun. Yeah, Arcane Library. Yeah, it's supposedly the archaeology museum equivalent of Arcane Library. That's how I've heard it described. What about Minecraft or Vintage Story? I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. I think that the Minecraft server that we were running, I still have all the mod packs that Brassy made for it, so we could theoretically reboot that server. Vintage Story I still have never played, but honestly, I probably should just bite the bullet and play Vintage Story. For people who haven't played it, Commissar showed it to me like a while back, and I keep not playing it, and I don't know why. There's literally a flint knapping mechanic. When you're making stone tools at the beginning of Vintage Story, literally you make the stone tools, you flint knap them into the shape that you need. It's very archaeology coded, and I feel like there's probably a couple of mods that could be thrown into that if we wanted to get a server going that would add extra ruins and stuff and make it a very archaeology style thing. They have a lot of mods, Well, we can talk about mod packs for it. We'll see if we can get a good archaeology themed mod pack. And yeah, maybe I'll try Vintage Story. The Chicago server. Yeah, this will be the new Chicago server on Vintage Story. We'll look into. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. We could talk about it. Race mods for kobolds too. All right. Well, let's not bring politics into it. All right. Race mods though. We do love a fantasy setting. Other filler games. Manor Lords. I've been getting a lot of pings on the Manor Lords Discord. They've been doing a lot of updates. I think they're on like 0.8 now, version 0.8 of their early access, and we haven't played since like 0.2. Manor Lords, I'm getting a hankering. I might want to try it again. They added new monsters to Repo. We could always dip back into the Friend Slop. The Friend Slop games are a blast. Manor Lords, Blade Song, which was that game that I showcased a couple months ago. Forge your own weapon. It's like the weapon forging game that they somehow made a plot story out of. I think that would probably be a fun one to try a little bit. I figured, like, why not? Age of Empires or other games in the same vein. Like, it's a game that we could just bust out for a night or two and try out something while we talk about history. It'd be fun. Just like returning to some faves that are good ones to pass the time. You know, of course, Friend Slop games I'm not opposed to. I love those things. I love that shit. Now, upcoming releases. These are things that we should start marking our calendars for. The big ones. Valheim 1.0. After years, Valheim is finally getting its full 1.0 release. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. We're doing a 1-to-1 reconstruction of Viking Age Birka, bitches. That's what I think I want to do. When Valheim 1.0 comes out, I'm gonna get some maps. I'm gonna get some historic archaeology maps and site overviews of what the Swedish Viking Age trade settlement island of Birka was like, and I'm gonna terraform. I'm gonna do some like I did with the longhouse things. Like, yeah, why not? Let's just make Birka in Valheim. That's what I want to do for 1.0, and we'll let friends come in and play, and we'll all goof around and have fun time stuff, and maybe I'll just try and build it in survival, because why not? That'll be metal. Instead of like I'll terraform in creative to get the island how we need to have it, and then just build it in survival mode and rebuild the city of Birka or settlement of Birka. That'd be cool as hell. That would be so cool. It might actually get me back into Valheim. I do admit, considering it's a Viking survival game, and how popular it is, I'm really sad that I never got more into Valheim. We played it a bunch, and I do like it. It's still really fun. But something else worth mentioning, Enshrouded 1.0. The Enshrouded is probably my favorite survival crafter builder. Like up there with Ark. It's up there with Ark for my favorites. I think that Enshrouded's building system and mechanic system is so good. And I think that once this game gets to a point where they're going to start allowing mods, which I don't think they're there yet, I think that after the 1.0, they're going to start getting to the point where they're going to allow mods. And when that happens, I think that game is going to pop off deservedly. The second that they add a mod to let you play as the other sort of races, even though there aren't that many, there's only like 4 other, there's the spooky ghost people, there's like little Firbolg like bear men, there's lizard people, and then I think there's like kind of like rabid barbarian style people that are just like different than the normal people. But I mean, if they start adding, but I mean, heck, they have NPCs. Like there's a dwarf NPC. Why not make it playable? Just like add some customizations to the base model. Like if they start adding mods to let people do stuff like that, there is a lot of potential for Enshrouded to be an absolutely goated RP like roleplay server game. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Another game that's coming up that I'm really excited for, Gate Guard Simulator. This is one of those like police station games where people come to a checkpoint and you got to like review all their stuff and make sure they're not trying to sneak a fast one past you. Gate Guard Simulator looks so funny. It looks like campy as hell. as opposed to like a lot of those end up being like horror adjacent games. And this one looks like it can't be equivalent to it. It's going to be so fun. It's an obvious choice, especially because I've never really played any games in that genre. It's going to be an amazing way to intro into it. So I'm very excited for Gate Guard Simulator. Another early access game that I don't know if anyone has heard about. Look it up. Dino Lords. Here's my summary. Anglo-Saxons recruit dinosaurs to help fight Vikings. It looks so dumb. I can't fucking wait. It's going to be so good. I can't wait for Dino Lords. It's like a top-down... It's like this top-down, unhinged game. It's going to be so silly. And we have to try it. Anglo-Saxons fighting off Vikings with dinosaurs is just too incredibly on brand not to do. Right? Sounds like something from that Kung Fury movie. Oh, such a good movie. We should watch that movie on stream. That'll be a fun thing. I feel like they wouldn't copyright strike. Especially if I comment. Like specifically just for that one scene where they talk about the Viking Age having laser raptors. But anyway. Now, what are our next steps beyond the games and beyond everything else? Spectator, what's happening? Welcome back. Thank you very much. It's good to be back. You've caught the tail end of our PowerPoint presentation summarizing everything. Don't worry. It'll be in VOD form on Twitch and on YouTube soon. Now, what are our next steps?
So do you.
Thank you very much for the resubscription. 25 months. Amazing. Appreciate you. Next steps. A return to edited videos. With all this time in the hotel, I want to actually start putting up real YouTube videos again. This right here, this is YouTube video bait. I'm going to do another one here in a minute because I have something that I want to talk to you guys about. But I have edited videos. I want to start doing edited videos again. The hotel time means I'm going to have more time for editing. I want to be able to capitalize on that. And look, at the core, as much fun as we have playing games and memeing, I do want to get people interested in archaeology, especially because it's a time where history and archaeology are facing challenges institutionally. And I want to make sure that we are keeping the interest and the love of this alive because it's very fun and very cool. That's what it comes down to. I also want to bring back a more consistent posting of short form content. Clips, memes, little shorts, little fun facts that I can post up on TikTok and YouTube. I want to be able to start, and YouTube Shorts, maybe I'll start posting on Instagram again, realistically, so that we can show more people stuff. Because I didn't do Instagram before because I never use Instagram. I don't go on Instagram, so I kind of forget about it. But I feel like, yeah, if I'm posting on TikTok and YouTube, maybe I'll start posting on Instagram again. And then the last step, get famous, which I put here. Honestly, this one is kind of more on you guys, and I need you to pick up the slack, please. There's only so much I could do. No lies were told. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Follow me on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, and anywhere else where you see my name. Thank you guys. That was my PowerPoint presentation. Worship him, peasants. But that's it. That's the PowerPoint. We did it. Wait, hold on. Can I? Let me X this out first. Bam. And then shut down. And then and now the ambiance is back. Famousify RuneMeisterKris. That's a new one. That's a new word. Keep telling my friends about me, but they're too attached to this new fad called sleeping. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you are kind of in a unique position where I make it incredibly difficult to maintain steady viewership across the pond. See, that's why I stream till my 3 a.m. Because I like to wake up with the British homies. Although, yeah, I like to wake up with the British homies, is what it is. If I stream till like 2 a.m., have a spot of tea. It's fine, I'm clearly just the RuneMeister's strongest soldier. Yeah, you fight through the temptations of bed on a very frequent basis. Oh, let's get the music back. Am I out of music? Yes, I am. I forgot to hit loop. I need more songs. Got very legitimately, it's been a very long time since I've made huge adjustments to like the playlist that I use. Do I have a section for music in my Discord? I do. Music, movies, and television. If anyone has any recommendations for like good songs or things that are DMCA free or stream safe, post them in there and I'll take a listen and maybe add them to the setup. You haven't heard there was any music? Well, I had it turned off when I was doing the presentation. Hold on. It's there. Creeping ever closer in the background. I had it too loud when we started, and then I had it too quiet. If only I knew how to do this. It's only been, what, 5 fucking years that I've been streaming? I can't figure out the goddamn sound. Now make a video about me coming up with ideas for a video. The PowerPoint. You know what that PowerPoint was? Nothing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that into a 10-minute video. That's going to be a 10-minute YouTube video of me talking about nothing. I had 3 points that I made on that entire PowerPoint. Did you guys notice that? I had 3 points. I moved house and it sucked dick. I'm having a hard time getting set up, but we're getting there. It's like, work is very busy, but I have a consistent work schedule. Going to be a lot of hotel streams, but we're going to make it work. And my kids are making me go gray. And the economy is in shambles. That was like the 3 main points. And then I told you what my new schedule was going to be and what games I wanted to play. That's the whole video. There. I'm gonna put this little bit at the end of the video. When I post it, I'm gonna be like, by the way, if you don't want to watch the whole video, just watch this part. But I'm gonna put it at the end of the video so that they don't see it until it's too late and I get the metrics. What's the new schedule? It's very similar to the old one. The main difference is that Fridays are jumping to Mondays. So we are doing Monday, Thursday, starting sometime between 8 and 9 p.m. Central. So an hour earlier time frame. It's, well, I guess maybe on time because I'm starting earlier. But I'm on Central time zone now. And then Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central because my kids won't go to bed. They won't go to bed when they're supposed to. So now I have to do 9 p.m. start times, and even that I'm muscle arming Britchala into putting Blue Eyes White Dragon to sleep. How? My wife was standing just out of my view, and I just caught a glimmer of her moving in the flickering flame light in the shadows. And I nearly had a heart attack. I spoke her name and she appeared. Like Joe Hendry. Yeah? There's no sink spigot. Yeah, it's just a drain. We could try and add one. How's the painting going? LARP reflexes? Commissar LARP reflexes. She just said she spent a solid 5 minutes between standing in the doorway and inching closer. She's been there a very long time. She wanted to see how long it was going to take. It was like, was the PowerPoint still up when you came in? Okay, so she arrived after I turned off the PowerPoint, but like just after. I just have bad reflexes. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I do have bad reflexes. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Did I find the hidden Tito's buried in the garage before I moved out? No. No, we did not find it in the garage. It's going to the new sellers. Or it's going to the new people. I have to drive back and break into their garage to steal the Tito's. No, I absolutely did not find it. Where did you guys... I don't know where you could have put it that we didn't find it. Unless it ended up in something that we packed without finding the Tito's. And we've brought it here. Oh my god, I would be so mad. I don't know, he hasn't answered yet. It's very possible. Oh god. We stand a spooky queen, is what chat says. But yeah, so the new schedule is Monday and Thursday, 8 or 9 p.m. Did you... Wait, was that all? It was all good? Oh, okay. Right. And then you just hung out. Okay, good. Well, I just want to make sure. Thank you. That's so funny. That's so funny. I had no clue at all. Monday, Thursday, 8 or 9 p.m. Central Time. Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Sunday, brunch stream, 11 a.m. Central Time. As dubious as always. The Sunday brunch stream I put up there just for when we do it. It will be at 11 a.m. But the Sunday brunch stream is by no means guaranteed. It is by no means guaranteed. So that is where we're at. That's where we're at. It's, in essence, very similar to the old stream schedule. We're just dropping Fridays for Mondays and starting a little bit later on average. You're here if the circadian rhythm is still messed up. Yep, that's... Sorry. Because I think Bajas, you're another Euro enjoyer, right? Good morning. It's yeah, I'm here to help usher in the day for the morning folk. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with on the scheduling stuff. Norway, almost 6 a.m. Ding. That's like when my kids wake up. I think yeah, Gibble has been. I end up sleeping in the bed with him a lot, which is annoying because right now he's just sleeping on a we're in the process of getting new beds and everything and shuffling it all around. And so we've got him on a full mattress on the floor, which is really comfortable for him. He loves it. It's like a Montessori. Well, it's not a Montessori bed, but Montessori style. But of course, for me, it's annoying. I'd rather sleep in my bed. But the little goober tends to wake up at like 1 a.m. and then not want to go back to bed unless someone's there. So. And of course, it's always like right when I go to bed, like I fall asleep for 15, 20 minutes and then he wakes up. You know, this, it's an OST for Skyrim. This is one of the Skyrim songs, which, yeah, is definitely a recognizable one for sure. Speaking of Skyrim and games that I want to play, have you guys seen the Skyrim RP server clips? They've got some mods for Skyrim RP, and they have everybody together, like, mixing in for the NPCs. I've been debating it. There's a little part of me that thinks it would be really funny to have Thaddeus come in as a high elf, like a Thalmor, and just come in raging skooma addict and just neg the Nords all the time. Well, you see, I'm here on investigation from, for the Thalmor Embassy. I'm trying to find out some details about the primitives who settled in this land, so that we can figure out some more details about it. And just like, just trash on Nords the whole time. Be like, oh, no, don't worry, lad. I don't mean any offense by it. You can't help how you are. Here, grab this shovel. I could use your help. Come with me. I need a good labor hand. And just put these Nords to work. Go dig up friggin' Dwemer ruins as Thaddeus in Skyrim would be funny as hell, I think. I have plenty of Nord friends. my god. Skoog FFS Norwegian Skyrim RPer. Can recommend. Oh, is he one of the guys on the server? Dude, I'm gonna look into it. You've watched a bunch of the Skyrim RP? I've seen a lot of clips of there's a lady who does a Khajiit bard that's really funny, where she'll take songs and every time there's a lyric that's like I or me, she'll replace it with this one. Very funny. Does somehow manages to do a good Khajiit voice while singing also good. You could play Sandow. Yes, that is true. If you wanted to do Khajiit stuff. This one goes out to this one loves. Basically that's what happened. It's a very funny bit. So yeah, I don't know. That's something else we can consider. There's a lot of options is what I'm getting at here. There's a lot of options. Yeah, I'll be honest. I wasn't gonna have very many. I didn't have a game lined up for tonight, mainly because tonight it was predominantly a test stream. Right, I'm trying to test out whether or not both live streams are working, and I'm also trying to get all the thoughts in order and make sure really that because I'll be honest, maybe this is not surprising in the slightest to any of you. I did very little. I did very little to mechanically prep to make sure that I actually would be able to go live tonight. I came down, I got everything set up. I was like, oh, cool, the projector works. I can get stuff onto it. That's good. I have an internet connection. It looks pretty stable. I didn't run any test streams. The most that I did was that thing that I did in the hotel that accidentally posted a link to the YouTube stream. I've been secretly muted this whole time. No, fortunately, I've been keeping an eye on the audio input bar. I know that I can actually be heard. But I did think that. Well, we did have the sound problems at the start. We did have sound problems at the start where the mic wasn't picking up properly, and the music was too loud. Which that's probably something I'm gonna have to figure out, like why my mic so right now I have this volume, and then even just leaning back like that, the volume drops so dramatically. I feel like it shouldn't be that dramatic of a drop for that small of a distance. So I have to find out what setting that is that's making that happen. And I have to I have to up the sensitivity on that. Because I have a noise gate, or I have a noise threshold cap. So I can't really talk too loud. Because it'll stop me. But I feel like if I'm talking the same volume and leaning back and it sounds that much quieter, I feel like that's, I get being right up on the mic is going to be something. But I should fix something about that. Berglund Gnomes is also very fun in groups. I've seen a lot of Berglund Gnomes clips. That one does look silly and fun. I was talking about the Mound before, Commissar. I thought the Mound would be one that you would really like. The Call of Cthulhu meets Hunt Showdown looter extractor, where you're like conquistadors that go to an island and go crazy and kill each other. Although I know it would happen. Where I would get you, Top Gunner, and Jason in a group, because I think it's 4 people. I would get you, Top Gunner, and Jason into a group. We would land on the island. And all 3 of you would immediately, no time down, immediately turn and shoot me in the face and go, damn, the madness mechanics. I thought you were a zombie, dude. I thought you were the madness mechanics. I couldn't help it. Damn, that tricked me. I just know it. And I would crash the fuck out. I would crash out. Spectator, what's this game? There's a game out now called The Mound, and the premise is basically that in the conquistador era, a ship gets lost and washes up on an island. And when you go on the island, you're going ashore to do a looter extractor style, kind of like Dark and Darker or Tarkov, that kind of thing. Or Hunt Showdown is another good example. And you get to the island and you start exploring around, and there's monsters and all sorts of challenges and stuff. But there is a hidden madness bar, similar to Call of Cthulhu, because it is a Call of Cthulhu associated lore. Like the lore is it's a Call of Cthulhu other world story or something. And essentially you get this madness mechanic. And I know that some of the quirky things that we've seen online are like, oh, it can make your friends look like enemies, so you accidentally shoot your friends thinking that they're a bad guy. Or like you might loot an item, and then when you go to try and use the item, it's actually like a stick or a rock or something, and like your vision changes. It's supposed to be this like really trippy, like, yeah, it's a madness mechanic built into a looter extractor shooter, which seems really niche and kind of cool. But I was saying, like, that's the kind of game that I could see Commissar really enjoying. It does seem a little spoopy, so that would be fun too. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that one or not. It was just it was like a thought. But oh my goodness. What else do I have? At the risk of blinding myself here. Other games that I have downloaded on my computer right now are, so I have that Tears of Metal. I do have Jurassic World Evolution 3 if we wanted to dive into my definitely not actually my profession paleontology. Do a Dino Park. There's Far Cry Primal, which I've had on my list of things to play for a very long time. Far Cry Primal, because I've heard a lot of archaeologists talk about that game as like a good one to play in the archaeo gaming sphere if we're talking about Neolithic cultures. Have I played the Procession to Cavalry? Calvary. Have I played the Procession to Calvary? Very short but funny. I have not. I'm going to look it up, though. I am a guy who studies fossils and dinosaurs, clearly, so it makes sense that I would have a dinosaur theme park. Obviously. Precisely. So there's that. And then I also have, yeah, Far Cry Primal for Neolithic cultures. There's a lot of things that we can just like dip our toes in as the season goes on. But I am excited. Tonight, I will admit, it's not going to be as long as some of the other streams. This one is very much just like a welcome back. I do still have a lot of stuff to do. The game is made with Renaissance paintings, a bit like Monty Python animations. Oh, so it's like that game we played. It's like the King Arthur game that we played. Let me pull up Steam. What am I thinking of? Because there's Inculinati, which we never played. But then there's what's the King Arthur one that I have? Is it called like Camelot or shoot? Where is it? Where the hell is this game? I know I have it on Steam somewhere. Yeah, we streamed it this past year. I forget what it was called, but it's something about King Arthur. It's like the game is King Arthur fables, like the stories of the Knights of the Round Table on a tapestry. That one was pretty fun. I remember. It was very complex. No, it's not that one. That was the big problem with that one was just like the sheer amount of like mechanics that were involved. It was very mechanically dense, which is not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing. It was just different. What's the title? This one is just point and click. Yeah, I'm trying to find it in my Steam library. I'm clicking through. Not that one. Definitely not that one, but what the hell is this game? Do you guys ever have that where you're just like scrolling through where you're scrolling through your Steam library and you're like, what the fuck is this one? You're like, what the hell game is this? How long has that been there? Oh, like that Aska. I think a friend gifted that one to me. I think somebody gifted Aska to me, which is another Viking themed survival game, and I never got around to doing it. So, no, it's not that one. What the hell is this King Arthur game? Hold on. Now I gotta Google it. King Arthur Tapestry game. Is that it? Legends of the Round Table? It's not on my Steam library. Did I have it? Did I have it through frickin' Yeah, Legends of the Round Table. It's not showing up on my library anymore. Did it get pulled down? Or did they or did I have it through Game Pass? I don't remember. Anyway. If Hunt Showdown didn't take too long to download, we could have played that. Yeah, no, I just meant like in general, I wasn't planning on playing games tonight because I wanted to talk about that. The other thing that I do want to talk to you guys about, very unique art style. Yeah, it was super cool. I actually had a brief talk with the devs because I did a couple of, it was like during a beta test or something. Maybe that's why it's not showing up. Maybe it's only on playtest or beta test or something. It's not live yet. But when I did it, I did a couple submissions and they sent a couple emails back and forth. So it was pretty cool. It was a fun one. Scriptorium, Master of Manuscripts. Yeah, I have seen Scriptorium. I think Scriptorium and Inkwell Nati are both on Game Pass or something. So those are also good things. But I do have something I want to talk about. This one's like a little bit serious. And this is me doing archaeology outreach. Right? This is the important thing to talk about. And so there is some stuff going on in the United States in regards to the legal situation around archaeology. And I'm just bringing it up to have a record out there to talk about it. So I'm going to try and keep this like very factual and just down to earth. I'm just explaining the situation right here. And I might do a TikTok or a short form video that'll explain it in a little bit more detail. But essentially what's going on is that there is proposed changes to Section 106 guidelines. Section 106 guidelines, for those who don't know, are the series of codes and laws that were passed in the 60s that detail the process for conducting archaeological and historical research for projects that have a federal nexus. So things that involve agencies such as the Army Corps of Engineers, FEMA, Department of Transportation, parks, the National Park Service, any of those kinds of agencies, should they have a jurisdiction over a project because the contractor is seeking federal funding or federal assistance or anything like that. Section 106 triggers in the event that there is potential for cultural material to be impacted. And that's where our job comes in. Brid Shala as the architectural historian and me as an archaeologist. A Section 106, as I said, was made in the 60s. It's old. There's a lot of outdated terms, a lot of outdated information, a lot of outdated guidelines that warrant taking a look at. And I agree that like looking at Section 106 and tweaking some of the language and adjusting it to a more modern time is not a terrible idea. However, the changes that have been proposed and which have passed the first stage of approval involve some pretty radical and significant changes to Section 106 that I think are not the direction that we're hoping for when we see these sorts of changes happen. And I can actually post an article. I'm going to assume it's okay to because they posted it somewhat publicly, and say spread it around. But there was a group of archaeologists in one of the Discords I'm in who did post a little summary article that describes everything in terms of what is kind of going on. I'm scrolling up to see if I can find it. But I did read the proposed law changes with the red lines at work with a coworker. And the crux of what is happening is that the changes are seeking to limit the amount of work that is done on an archaeological and historical context when it comes to approving these projects. And it seeks to expand the subjective view of agency officials to determine whether or not the importance of a project that is being undertaken outweighs the cultural significance of any potentially impacted material. So in essence, a lot of things that say, oh, you shall do this, have then turned into you may do this or whatever. So that's kind of what's going on. Ignore. So I don't mean to laugh in the middle of a serious conversation. Ignore the Jimothy app end to that link. Somebody posted an emote of Jimothy, the raccoon that is super shrunk at the cryptid, the modern day cryptid. Anyway, the article is the important part. And this discussion is summarizing what's going on, what needs to happen, and what the proposed changes are that are causing these. Jesus Christ, opening an article flushes me out like crazy. Jimothy is an archaeologist, confirmed. Yeah, Jimothy is. I wish I would gladly welcome him in. So so here's what we're looking at. So now they're judge, jury, and archaeologist. Yes and no. They can't conduct the archaeology, right? It still has to go to people like me. And hopefully, I mean, in essence, there is still a lot of situations where the archaeology will need to be conducted, where it's not going to be avoidable. However, the language and the terminology that's being adjusted in these new sets of laws very heavily imply the possibility of bypassing certain things that I do for archaeology. It's not going to erase my profession off the bat. It's not going to make archaeology completely null and void at a federal level. But it is going to make it so one of the big things is they're setting a time limit for surveys. So if there's a project, you have like 30 days to complete the survey for the project. Which, for context, one of the projects that I was working on recently, we did surveys that were constantly being adjusted because the contractor was constantly changing their maps, and that project ran, I think, 2 or 3 years before it got canceled because they had an issue on their end. So the idea of these surveys only being done in 30 days means that it's going to dramatically change a lot of methodologies when it comes to archaeology. I think it's going to mean a lot of pedestrian surveys as opposed to actual shovel testing. I think that it's going to change a lot about how the reporting and survey process happens. But anything on that front would be speculative at this point. We don't know. We don't know what the changes are going to do. We also don't know what the final changes are going to look like. The one thing that was a little bit more concrete in the phrasing and was definitely a lot more worrying was that in archaeology, when you're conducting surveys, you have your direct APE, area of potential effect. That is to say, if I'm building a house on a property, the APE would be the property where the house is getting built. That parcel is the area of potential effect. That is the direct APE, the place where the work is actively going to be happening, where damage to materials and other sorts of things can be like very tangibly seen. Projects also have what are called indirect APEs. Indirect APEs are an approximately 1/4 mile radius around your direct APE, which is an area where historic structures, sites, locations, places, or monuments, etc., where they might be. And the indirect APE seeks basically to look at whether or not the project undertaking would have an impact on those things, even if it's not directly damaging them, right? So to use a very kind of extremist example, we're hearing a lot nowadays about data centers and the noise that they make, and how data centers running 24 hours a day make a lot of humming noises. The removal of this indirect APE would effectively mean that, assuming all the other puzzle pieces fit into place, there would be nothing stopping the construction of a loudly humming data center outside of the Carnegie Opera House. So that you had a nice little humming accompaniment while you were enjoying the shows in a very historic classical space, right? Or in other contexts, it would mean being able to put like loud flashing billboards or, you know, like big billboard signs that have, you know, big obstructive views and context to them around areas that might be, you know, even just to put it in a more modern context, like something like the 9/11 Memorial in New York City, you know, an area that has a little bit of reference. I don't know if it's registered as like a historic place right now because it's pretty recent. But it's like a very similar context of like saying that, oh, we have this monument, this site that has a bit of reverence, a bit of cultural significance, a bit of importance. There's an understanding of a way to kind of behave and act around that kind of place. And now there's construction projects that can happen that are going to, you know, block your view of the light column monument, and that doesn't matter because it's not directly impacting the material components of the monument, right? Is that making sense to people? Like, am I explaining that clearly? That sort of stuff is Brid Schalla's job. That's like what her job is. Checking out the surrounding view shed, indirect APE, to see how projects impact architectural structures or other sort of monument sites in those general areas. And the impacts to that, I think, are very worrisome, because I think that it's going to mean a lot of archaeological sites are going to be it's going to make it difficult, and you're going to lose a lot of that historical preservation in it, in ways that, yeah, I mean, it's not getting broken, but it's going to make it a lot more difficult to see it and enjoy it the way that it's supposed to be. Shinkari, what's going on? Hello to gamers. But yeah, these changes to Section 106 and the archaeology and the historic architectural history laws are concerning, because even though it's, you know, I'm not, it's not sounding like I'm going to be like that the archaeology profession is in direct danger, but it's definitely going to be shrinking. I think that a lot of the work in this industry is going to be going away, and really the reason to bring it up is because, like, they've now entered an open commentary period. Not to say that I'm asking a call for action for everybody to go out and write an article about it, mainly because the types of articles and letters that they're looking for are very official. I'm just kind of like, this might be, I'm not sure if it's also like a boots on the ground kind of call your senator type situation, but it's just one of those things that I feel is like very important to mention as somebody whose content is focused around archaeology. Coming back into streaming, it would be silly for me to not mention this, because it is the most relevant bit of news around archaeology that's happening right now, and it's not a mainstream media discussion. You know, it's not like the type of thing that that you're going to get on all of your briefings unless you're very in the archaeology space or whatever. If I had a senator, I'd make a fuss. Thank you. That's something. It's just like, sometimes it's really baffling that like a country that has such a great love of their own history and loves to kind of toss around. We literally are celebrating a 250-year anniversary of the formation of our country, and we're talking about how much we love our history and how much we want to preserve like the ideas and the accomplishments of what America has done all this time. And yet a country that is so vocal and seemingly outspoken about trying to preserve that history is so willing to just let Jabba the Hutt or whatever oil baron wants to, you know, take over another third world country to put in something, they're just so willing to let them just barrel through all of that cultural history in the name of a little bit of profits. It's just like, it's a baffling situation to me. I don't understand it. And now yeah, like I said, I understand that there are some things that need to change in Section 106. I think that a lot of the problems are from a lack of funding. I think that the real problem is that state SHPO offices can't afford to keep enough people on to keep all the projects and everything going in time. Anna, what is going on? I'm talking about the Section 106 thing. I'm talking about the thing. But welcome on in. Yes, we are talking about Section 106, the thing. It's the despair. I think that what I do want to reassure people, like I was talking about this a minute like before you came in. I want to I read the whole thing front to back with a coworker, and we tried to talk through it, and we tried to like devil's advocate a lot of the things. And the concern and how despairing it's going to be really boils down to whether or not the agency official in charge is willing to be a lot more bribed. in essence, how susceptible to bribery is the agency official going to be? Because if they're willing to take a lot of money to say, yeah, I think that this, I think that this data center is more important than the Trail of Tears, then, mainly, this $2.6 million in my pocket says that. Okay, yeah, that might be more cause for concern. But I think that overall, most projects are still going to have an archaeological component to them. They're just going to have to adjust the methodologies. Everything's going to have to go a lot quicker. I think that there is going to be job threats for a lot of folks. But on the other side, we were also, me and my coworker were also positing that projects with shorter deadlines, like, oh, you need to get this survey done in 30 days, might mean that we need to hire, that means that we'd be able to staff more ARCs because we have to do bigger projects in shorter times. To be like, oh, well, let's just load up on field staff and just knock it out, rather than trying to slim it down and be like, well, we're going to bid for, a supervisor and one other person to go out and spend a week digging up this site, as if the deadlines aren't already crunched. Yeah, they are. Yeah. And I mean, the problem is, like, I do agree that Section 106 needed some adjustments. I do agree that there needed to be better listing of what these deadlines and what sort of metrics needed to happen on both client side, SHPO side, contractor side, in terms of getting certain things done. But I will also defend it, saying that the funding that these SHPOs were getting was not enough for them to complete all the tasks in a timely manner. Like, the reason why projects are getting delayed from the archaeology standpoint is because they're not getting enough money to do the projects in time. And so now they're like, wow, well, it's all your fault. Let's just get rid of it. And it's like, no, that's not what's happening. It's not that we're slowing things down intentionally. It's that a lot of these projects, it's like we're waiting on, oh, well, we have to send it to a SHPO, and the person working at the SHPO has 8 different project reports on their desk that are all clamoring for a deadline. And it's like, well, if you had more people that could handle these sorts of reviewing processes, if you had the funds to be able to do that, then they would get done quicker. But they aren't willing to front the money for it. The SHPO are incredibly understaffed, largely. And so, like, and that's kind of where some of it comes down to. It's like a difference of how to approach the topic. My hope, again, we are still in this review process. I am a little upset and dejected. I was hoping that this first proposal draft that came through was going to be sent back with edits, and then they would have done something and then opened it up to the comment period. But they just approved it as written and have now gone into the comment period. So now is when all of the major arguments are coming forward that people are going to be able to start making, which a lot of the arguments are worth saying, because some of the changes and adjustments that they made are kind of dumb. And not dumb in the sense of like, oh, I don't think that they should be doing that. Dumb in the sense of like, oh, this person actually might not know how to read. The person who wrote this actually, I think maybe is just a dumb person and shouldn't be writing laws. But what do I know? For example, I think that the funniest thing that I saw in the entire thing, like there was a moment that I actually laughed out loud. And it was from, that's right. So there was something where during the process of the Section 106 stuff, when the federal agency, the SHPO and or TIPO, Tribal Historic Preservation Office, and the client, as well as any other relevant parties who have been informed and brought in on the process, when all of them get together and decide to come up with a game plan, an action plan for what is going to happen on the project in terms of like, this is what needs to happen, this is how it happens, this is the timeline, the budget, the yada, yada, yada. What it says in there, like literally, I'm going to try and direct quote this as best I can. The law is a line where it says like, well, the requirements to write up this action plan are largely meant to be sort of customizable. Like it's meant to be fluctuating. There's meant to be various you're supposed to be able to discuss it as you are going through it, to come up with what you think is the best way to handle it. It's like, okay, that's all well and good, but one of the lines that they include is, quote, the memorandum of agreement, i.e. the game plan. The memorandum of agreement shall specify the ways in which adverse effects shall be resolved. Pretty straightforward. It is required to say what adverse effects are going to happen and how they're going to be solved. And it shall include a covenant not to sue. Period. The ways in which adverse effects shall be resolved, and it shall include a covenant not to sue. A covenant not to... I'm like... When it passed, I sent it to a group. I said, no changes at all? Not even about the covenant? It's because Halo came out this week. That's why they included that line. Somebody who wrote the law is way too Halo-brained. But including a covenant not to sue is unhinged. Because what the fuck does that mean? Oh, yeah, we're signing this agreement. We have these game plans for how we want to try and mitigate and protect these sort of things, but just, make sure that you're not doing any violations to this structure or this sort of area. Just make sure that that's all, in compliance. Yeah, that's all good. Let's sign this. We'll sign the covenant not to sue each other. Good. That afternoon, a wrecking ball goes flying through a historic property. What are we going to do? We can't sue them. We signed a covenant. We can't sue them. What do we do? What do we do in that case? Why on earth is a covenant not to sue included in there? That's not how the law works. You can't just say, oh, don't worry, I'll let you get away with flagrant violations of the law. You can't. That's just so silly. I don't know why it's even a discussion. When are we suing? What archaeologist has money for a lawyer? Well, so the thing is, it wouldn't be the archaeologist. Because at the end of the day, and this is unchanged, I do want to specify, this is always how Section 106 has been. The archaeologists and the archaeology agency are not the people who are signatures on the memorandum of agreement, right? That stuff is handled by the federal agency. The SHPO and TIPO are one of the parties. It will be the SHPO and TIPO. It will be the client, whoever is doing the project, whether it's a contracting company, an energy company, or what have you. And then there is also the federal agency that's involved, which could be, as I said before, Army Corps, DOT, NPS, FEMA, right? Any of those. Army Corps does handle a lot of projects. FEMA handles a lot of projects. DOT handles a lot of projects. So what the person who would be involved in that, those are the people who take the responsibility for the archaeology component, right? The conducting of the archaeological survey. IBS, RBF, PTO, a lot of acronyms. But but yeah, so essentially they Ubers, they are the people who would be in charge of handling the archaeology component, right? So like when a project happens that's going to affect a historic bridge, the DOT is the federal agency who's involved in determining the archaeological significance and signing off on that element of the project and signing the covenant. And they hire out the archaeology contracting firm to handle that, right? Or they oversee, I should say. Because the memorandum of agreement would determine, as part of the agreement of how to resolve cultural impacts, getting an archaeological firm to handle that survey is part of that resolution process. But the federal agency would oversee that and sign off on the archaeology work being completed. You wonder if they want a bloodletting with that? Yeah, maybe. Blood on the parchment. We have to start doing blood packs? Start. Speak for yourself. Late to the party, people. But yeah, I don't want to ramble about it too long. But that's essentially the crux of what we're dealing with right now. That's another reason why there's been a lot of stress the past couple of weeks and months and delays getting back into the streaming world, is trying to figure out what's going on. Because there was a solid, like, I'd say there was a solid maybe like 30 hours where I was like, oh, sick. I just moved my entire family across the country and bought a brand new house, and I'm about to have my job erased by the government. But it doesn't sound like that's what's happening right now. So it is a cause for concern. It is something that is going to severely impact the sovereignty of tribes and tribal nations over areas and sites that are culturally and religiously significant to them. There's going to be a lot of impact even to like Western European-based American settlers. The Western base of Americans' history is just as impacted here. I think I said it before, where like you have what's to stop a hypothetical situation where Mount Rushmore becomes littered with ads, billboards, advertisements that are put up because, well, you're going to be looking at the mountain to look at the 4 president faces, so we're going to put all the ads around the mountain so that you have to look at it. And there was no direct damage done to the material component of the historic site. Therefore, it doesn't violate the Section 106 guidelines, right? Literally, that is what the language allows. It allows the federal agency involved to say, Mount Rushmore is an ad anyway. That's a take and not a wrong one. God forbid we actually consider the consequences of our actions. Yeah, no, that's for the future to handle. And hell, I mean, we're probably not even going to have one anyway. Damn. You looked outside recently? Half the country's on fire. We're probably not going to make it. Doesn't matter. Live hard and die. Yeah. But it's yeah, the process is going to be coming under some changes. It's an unavoidable element. This proposal has been passed, and the Council for like Historic Preservation or whatever, I don't know why I'm blanking on their term right now. They've already passed the first round of it, which means that they are going to pass a version of this. There is going to be the NCHP. Yes, thank you. There is the National Council of Historic Preservation. They have passed this, and now the open commentary period is happening, where people who are a lot more knowledgeable and hold a lot more weight in the industry than me are going to be able to write in with very well-edited notes. And I will say it's not even just archaeologists doing this, right? There's people who are in industries and businesses that don't include archaeology, but who work with archaeologists and are impacted by archaeology, who are contributing to this sort of call for letters. Which is crazy, because it means that there are there's people who are taking an interest in this outside of just the archaeology sphere. who are pointing out the benefits and the ways that Section 106 and these sort of archaeology guidelines have helped them. So this is just kind of more of like an extra way to kind of spread awareness and get people talking about it and thinking about it, you know? Because this commentary period is going to run for, I think, a couple weeks. It started last week was when the vote happened. It was last Friday. So not yesterday, like the week before. And so we have a little bit of time, but it is something that is happening. It's got to have, if we're going to talk about it, we got to talk about it now. And so there's concern and there's worry and stress about that, but we'll get through it. And yeah, I mean, if I lose my games, then that cycles back to the fact that I was talking about before during the PowerPoint, where I just need you guys to help get me famous so I can play games online for a job instead. Tribal elders and community leaders, disenfranchised groups whose history is already consistently erased or ignored. Yes, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can sit here and complain, and I said this in a group when I posted, you know, a meme to try and lighten the mood and get past it about, you know, about the impact that this is going to have on me. It's like, okay, I can complain about my job and, you know, the jobs of like my friends and stuff. There are people who are in a way more vulnerable position than me, way less privileged, way less options to go to other routes. And not even just like from a job standpoint, but yeah, groups and cultures who are directly going to have their cultural history erased and impacted much more significantly than mine. And there's very, like, you know, and that's something that we got to fight about, you know? These indigenous groups are not going to hold as much, like, they're not going to hold as much power over what happens on their lands. They're not going to be, there's going to be wording and phrasing in the languages that isn't done right, that is going to end up with people, with these tribal groups not being properly informed when projects do fall within their jurisdiction. And it's going to cause problems. It's going to cause more problems than it fixes. It's seeking to it's seeking to expedite the process. It's seeking to bypass certain specific regulations that would let projects that certain individuals want to happen. And I mean, like, I've talked about this with contractors before about, like, look, it's one of those things where, like, I've worked with environmental crews on infrastructure projects who are like, man, I can't believe people are protesting this project. Like, you know, the amount of oil that goes into their homes, like, how are they not wanting this pipeline to happen? It's like, brother, like, you're an environmental crew. Your job only exists because people protested it. Like, people protested that that these infrastructure projects were not being done in a safe way. And therefore, your job was created. You are employed right now because people protested the way the projects were being done. Me and a bunch of other archaeologists are employed. People on these projects, like, whole jobs are created around these sorts of industries. Land agents are so out of touch. This wasn't a land agent, but they are also. I have had land agents let me do their job because they're too annoyed or scared or afraid to talk to the land people in charge. Dante, to be honest, you just learned about NAGPRO the other day, so overall you're not shocked that people are trying to walk stuff back. But you sincerely hope things go better than expected. Yeah, I hope so too. NAGPRO is really important. I actually live pretty close to one of, like, the NAGPRO offices, I think, in that's over in Illinois. So yeah, I've done a lot of stuff like NAGPRO adjacent, not with NAGPRO, but things that potentially involve NAGPRO. And yeah, it's a lot. Again, the direct impacts, if you're running into a place that has a burial ground, yes, the tribes are still probably going to be consulted. I say probably. I would hope that it's a lot more concrete than probably. Like, I would hope that, yes, the tribes are still getting consulted of, like, hey, we found some potentially indigenous human remains. Come relocate it to one of, like, the designated graveyard sites that we tend to use, or figure out what we're going to do about this. I would hope that sort of stuff still gets covered. The concern then would be, but we are going to run a highway adjacent to this ceremonial mound site or something, which it's not the first time stuff like that has happened, right? You can hear the highway from Cahokia Mounds. Projects happen, and they're still going to happen. It's just, I think that this is going to make things a little bit too rodeo in a time where too many things are too rodeo. We have too many things that are going a little bit off the rails, and it's just something that I really hope that when all is said and done, there is a good middle ground that gets met. If you want to know how much NAGPRA is still contested in certain ways, you can talk about CX photo policy. Yeah, the photo policy is rough. You can't have photographs of human remains because there's a sacred element to it and a belief in like capturing a bit of the soul. So we have to be very careful about photos around potentially indigenous remains. Yeah, it's all too Texas, like we say in Norway. Funnily enough, we say that in America too. But yeah, so I know that we have. I've had a project before where my wife stumbled on a patella, which is a kneecap bone, and there was some dubious field identification. It was hard to identify whether or not it was a human patella or from another animal of similar size. But they believed it was human remains, like a potential for human remains. So you have to call the police. And so the police come out, and the cop is there, and he's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Because, you know, they hear that there's human remains, and they come out expecting, like, a dead body. And so when there's not a dead body, it's just a bone. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do about that? And they're like, well, dude, don't you have, like an anthropologist, like a osteoanthropologist or a forensic anthropologist? He's like, yeah, we can contact the university. And he like goes to take a picture of it, and we're like, we can't let you take a picture of that. Like, you're not allowed to take a photo of it. You got to just kind of tell about it. He's like, well, what the hell? Like, if I can't take a photo, how are they supposed to know what it is? I was like, we ended up calling the TIPO, and they told him what to do about it, because we're like, they have to come look at it, or you got to take it back and bring it to them. Like, you can't take a photo of it. There are certain places that are exempt. Cahokia Mounds, I pulled a human tooth out of Cahokia Mounds, and I showed it to the supervisor, and I was like, oh, do we have to like call the police or something? He goes, not here, you don't. It's Cahokia. They trust us to know when a body matters to the police here. That's an old tooth. That's not a police tooth. You would think that these archaeologists were told that we were going to steal their firstborn children with how people were reacted to no photos of indigenous remains. The archaeologists were reacting bad? That's cringe. I feel like the archaeologists should know what's going on. Like, that's pretty basic. Like, they should be pretty well aware. Like, unless you can confirm 100% that they're not indigenous remains, right? If they're from a historic cemetery or something, and you know for a fact that they're not indigenous. Like, okay, yeah, sure. If you can confirm it, it's still better safe than sorry and not to do it. That's my thought. But yeah, if you know for sure that it's like a Western-based remains, then sure, do the photos. But no, I mean, like, it's so basic. It's you go to someone's house, you take your shoes off, right? If you're dealing with indigenous remains, you follow the indigenous rules. You had an epiphany while playing D&D. Ruins are just city bones. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. By the way, I think Shinkari earlier, I think I glossed over a thing you posted about the, if you're still here, about World of Warcraft getting a D&D crossover. Yes, I have looked into this, and I am probably going to be getting it. Yeah, Ruins as city bones does make sense. You're very right. You're very right about that. Anna, you were working with CX president at the time, and she was riled up because of the reaction to the policy. She wrote a large portion of it. Oh, the policy around the photographs. You know archaeologists who lost lifelong colleagues from the fights that came out of that photo policy. How old was that? I was hearing about that policy 10 years ago. Is that, like, Or are we talking about a 10-year-old argument? Are we talking about like 15 years ago that people were talking about this? Because I'm like, this can't have been recently. This has been the policy for a long-ass time. They got really bad in 2024. Why? Why in 2024 are we having this argument? You know why? Because COVID did a lot of stuff to the archaeology industry. COVID did a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. So yeah, in any case, folks, that's like some folks need to just retire, i.e. die. Jesus. Well, some people won't retire until they die. It's pretty standard. If it helps, I work for a fairly big firm, and well, we don't really run into human remains all that often, but we would all not take photos. Again, if it helps. The digging from home initiative was not received well by archaeologists, I guess. Ugh, I know, imagine digging from home. I mean, part of the big problem was like, so there was a period of time in my career where I was working as like, I wasn't given like a full-time position or like a crew chief position. I was senior field technician. And this was a pseudo step-up job that was, as it was explained to me, a field technician who knew how to do field technician stuff. Because there was this real problem where a lot of people during COVID were not able to complete field schools. And they weren't able to do field schools. They weren't able to do surveys or digs during the initial parts because of lockdowns. A lot of people missed a lot of key instruction elements on how archaeology fundamentally works. Now, and don't get me wrong, like I didn't do phase 1 survey until I did my first phase 1 survey, right? Learning on the job is like a very viable thing on archaeology. A lot of people learn on the job, and fully I believe that a lot of people can learn on the job for archaeology. As long as you have someone who knows a lot more about the job on on the team. You know, hey, is this a thing? Yes, that's a thing. Like you can have again, like when I was working at Cahokia, they were largely volunteer excavators. It was locals who wanted to learn more about the town's history and about the local history. And it was, sometimes retirees who would come and hang out and, like, sit under a nice shade umbrella and screen some dirt. Or it was, guys who wanted to stay in shape, and they'd come out with a shovel, and they would dig up some holes. And then we had, like an archaeology professor and his grad student. And they were the ones who were actually in charge of the artifacts in the site. And they were they were kind of, like, overseeing everything. It's like, yeah, there are circumstances where that can happen. Where you don't need to be an expert in archaeology in order to dig a good hole. But there are a lot of things that need to be learned. And a lot of changes that have happened that older groups are not adjusting for. That more senior archaeology groups are not adjusting for. Just as everything in the world has rapidly changed, so too has our industry. I mean, I work with people who have been working long enough to have not had digital maps, where they had to use like a map with a compass and tape, and they had to actually manually hand grid the map and hand grid the ground that they were walking on to mark out transects for digging in a grid within a certain area. They had to use math. They had to use rulers and calculations and cartography to actually get their survey maps lined up in the field. And that's crazy. It's a crazy set of skills that I only know a little bit about. That I don't know if I'd feel confident about doing something like that if every piece of tech that I had on me died one day in the field. But there's a lot of new things that are coming around that a lot of groups are not picking up on quickly. There's a lot of ways to do digital field survey data collection and mapping collection that people have to catch up with. It's two opposing forces. AI will revolutionize shovel and brush technology. Jesus Christ. I will say at least shovel bumming. Well, I would say that shovel bumming is a relatively AI-safe profession, but maybe not with some of the clankers that they're coming out with. Did you guys see the Minotaur Centaur monster proposed robot? It's supposed to be like it's supposed to help people in these like fires, in these wildfires. It's literally like a 7-foot tall centaur with a bull head, and it has a humanoid torso like a centaur sitting on top of a 4-legged horse body, and it can hold and use a chainsaw. What are we fucking doing, man? It can hold a chainsaw. It can probably hold shovels and other sorts of equipment. Here. Look at this motherfucker. Where's open image in new tab? Let me pull up the internet page. Look at that guy. Like what are they doing? A centaur, and look at this picture. Look at this. Oh, no. This isn't it. This one. What the fuck is that? The stuff of nightmares. They're right. Let me just shrink it on this side. Like, that's so fucked. That's so fucked up. It's just like this like demon centaur thing. Drag it over here so that I can look at it. Oh yeah, and this is another good part. This here shows you the weak points. Like it's a fucking boss fight. These are the weak points on the centaur monster, guys, so that you know how to defeat it in the event that it goes rogue. Like, they showed this picture willingly. They showed this willingly. What is this? This is what I'm talking about. This motherfucker with a pickaxe? I'm in trouble. My profession is in trouble. That's what I'm real concerned about. Whatever. Chainsaw ain't special. Matilda on Robot Wars had a chainsaw too back in the 90s. Man, we've been giving robots chainsaws for 30 years. We've been giving robots chainsaws for so flammin' long. But, yeah. So, at the crux of it all, yeah, we have some changes that are coming down the pipeline to archaeological law. It's a cause for concern within my community. And if people feel obliged to make any sort of movement towards helping make some of those changes not happen, or at least to just spread awareness that this is happening so that like more and more people are aware of the kind of attacks that are happening to history in this country. That's just an important thing to bring up. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, that's where we're sitting on that law right now. It's well, but it's kind of crazy. But overall, that's where we're sitting on the stream in general. I did say tonight I wasn't going to go super duper late, and I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, which was that crazy bit of archaeology. But what happened to my Minecraft light? Is that thing on a timer? Is the battery life that short? Oh, that's ass. That's ass. I'm gonna have to recharge that like every night. Oh, that's a shame. I like that light a lot, actually. It's been more. It looks cool. Well, that's good to know. That I'm gonna have to recharge it every night. Anyway, guys, that's where we're at. Stream is Monday, Thursday, Saturday nights, around 9 p.m. Central. Maybe a little earlier if I'm in a hotel. Sunday night or Sunday afternoon brunch streams at 11 a.m. Central, assuming that I can get time away from the kids and work and everything, and there's something worth talking about. It's not gonna happen tomorrow, but we'll see what comes up in the following Sundays. Especially if I end up at a hotel on a Sunday, you can have a pretty good bet that we're gonna get a brunch stream then. Games, we're gonna be futzing around with some cool new ones. Maybe we'll start up a Kingdom Come Deliverance long-term play. We've got that Tears of Metal. We've got Ark coming up soon. There's Revisiting Manor Lords. There's The Mound. There are a lot of games. A lot of games that we want to try out and play and look at and talk about coming into the next few weeks and months. And, of course, leading into the later releases, we've got Valheim 1.0. We've got Enshrouded 1.0. A bunch of cool games, a bunch of fun stuff. So I am going to say tentatively, I'll see if I can get my hotel set up ready to stream on Monday when I get back to the hotel. I don't want to make any promises in case it doesn't work, but I should be able to have it ready by Thursday, definitely. But I will see if I can get everything ready for 2 days from now, for Monday. Because I do have the hotel setup kind of going. I just have to get the green screen up, and I have to convert it over. Oh, there will be a period for those of you who need a little bit of transition, because this is too much change. For those of you who need a little bit of transition, I will still technically have the old stream setup as my green screen background for the hotel streams. So my old hotel, my old house setup will be active, at least for a little while. It will live on in the hotel. And that's the soft transition. That's what we're going to be dealing with. And until I get this place fully set up and at a position where I can screenshot this and use this as my hotel background. But yeah, I do have a few things. I have the shield actually kind of looks goated there. Like, I was going to hang the shield up, but part of me's thinking maybe I just leave it laying on the ground. We'll fiddle around, especially because it's heavy and I'm nervous about this wall. Well, let's fiddle around because that's kind of goated. Plus, I have to put the Viking shield and the Dig Dug poster somewhere. And with the projector happening on the wall right behind me, I can take it down. Like, I'm probably going to put the Viking one up, and maybe I'll put Dig Dug up here. That might be what I do. But, yeah, but that's... I think that the shield down there is actually low-key a vibe. Especially with the way that I have that light flickering there. It lights it up real nice. But yeah, guys, keep your eyes peeled for lots of really cool stuff. We'll be back at this setup on next Saturday, hopefully. And yeah, we'll hopefully be at the hotel on Monday or Thursday. And as for what I'm going to play, I am unsure. I do technically have to finish God of War Ragnarok, and that was a hotel game. So I'm not sure if I want to dive right back into that, or if I want to do like an easy... Oh, gosh, I'm sorry I'm yawning so much. Or if I want to do like an easy transition game to get us into it. Especially because I am fiddling around with the dual stream setup now between Twitch and YouTube concurrently. I do want to continue to experiment around with this so that I can see if it works at the hotel, whether or not the game type affects it, stuff like that. So, yeah, so we'll see how all that looks. But as for tonight, yeah, I think that we are gonna keep it a little bit short. We are coming up on midnight anyway, which I feel like is a pretty good stopping point. Midnight Central, I should say. And I am eepy, and I have a feeling like I haven't drank enough water today. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys ever get that where you're just like, I need water. That's where I'm at. And I didn't bring down any drinks because I'll be straight up. I came down here with like literally like maybe 2.5 minutes to spare before I was supposed to go live. And I got down to this room, frantically turned on the computer, tried to get ready, threw everything together and went live. So I don't even know. I gotta get a drink of water is what I'm getting at. And I gotta get that EPs. Awesome to have me back. You know that you can't make every stream, but it's always a pleasure to make it when you can. Of course, I am not by any means expecting you, Dante, to make your to make a 3 times a week 3 a.m. appearance. Please God, get your sleep. Sheesh. I do appreciate you coming by. I appreciate everybody for dropping by. Thank you to everybody who came around and resubbed. Thank you to everybody who hung out and chatted. Thank you for letting me pontificate about the tragedies that are happening in the industry and about how annoying it was moving house the past couple of weeks. But I am so excited. I am like I said, I was very nervous when I was getting ready to go live. I was like, I don't think I'm ready. I don't have a whole lot going on. Like, I knew I wasn't even going to play a game tonight. I'm like, do I have enough to talk about? I mean, hell, we talked for 3 hours. We blabbed for 3 hours. I can do some pretty miraculous things with my mouth. No, stop. I started to stop. I knew it. No, as I was saying it, I was like, you can't finish that sentence. And then I did. But anyway, it's... we have some cool things that are coming down the pipeline. Cool games. I'm excited for this new setup. I think it's going to look really, really cool when we get everything finished. I have a few more things I want to do in the lighting department that I think are going to help finish this up. Todd Howard loves you. I know Todd Howard loves me because he's come out and said that Elder Scrolls 6 has a playable version. I don't know if everyone heard this. There is a playable dev version of Elder Scrolls 6. I know Todd Howard loves me because he released that information willingly. Does it mean that we're going to get Elder Scrolls 6 sometime in the next 10 years? I don't know. Maybe. But hey, it feels good to get a bit of news. It feels good to at least just get a taste. Just a little something, something. Alright, chat. I'm so sleepy. I'm going to chug a bunch of water and then go to bed. My baby's going to wake me up in like 5 hours. It's fine. I'll live my life. Good night, everybody. We'll see you later. Thank you so much for coming in. Got the nut. Toodaloo. Bye-bye. So long. We'll see you at the next stream. Keep an eye on Discord. I'm going to be very good about trying to keep up my schedule information on Discord. So I'll let you know there if I've got streams and stuff coming up. All right? So long. Bye-bye. Farewell. Toodaloo. See you later.